He's here with his wife.
Make sure it's on. That's it.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? I want
All
to
right,
say
how you doing, Victor?
thank you for having me.
Bless.
Oh, thank you for having me.
There you go.
Like I said, my name is Victor. My wife's name is Miriam. She got a whole bunch of titles. She's my wife. She's my parole officer. She's my producer. Just saying what she is. But I'm here to speak about, I'm going to give you a testimony of myself, and then I'm going to give you my recovery, you know, and where I'm at with the Lord. Well, I start by saying I want to thank Darlene. You see, sometimes it's worthwhile going to buy chicken in Kentucky Fried Chicken. She's there. She will give you a conversation, and even when she's not here, she's still working for you.
Amen.
We bumped heads, and she said, "God bless you." That opened the doors for me to talk to her, and she was quick to mention you. Will you come and speak? You know, but that's the way God works. Because I wasn't gonna go to Kentucky Fried Chicken that day. My wife have is that I tell her if she don't take out no meat because I do all the cooking, I tell her, "You didn't take out no meat. What we eating?" "I don't know." I said, "I don't know either." I asked yesterday. I said, "Okay." So that day I just said, "You know what? I need to get gas for the car," and just left. When I was at the gas station, I'm pumping. Something just told me go to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
God.
There I met Darlene.
God.
That's how I'm here today.
God told you.
All right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to start by saying that I'm so blessed, and I want to
JR.
thank the Lord for having me here today. And wow, for having y'all, the food we ate. God bless the food, the people that made it, and everybody that made this possible. So I started using drugs at the age of 13.
Whoa.
You know? I was a little man. I never knew what was it to hang out with kids my age. So using drugs at the age of 13 and be able to hide it for years from your family takes a lot of thinking to do, right?
Yep.
But you see, I had a good rapport with my brother, man. He rest in peace. And my mother. You see, I don't believe that drug is a problem. I believe drug is a symptom of a problem.
Amen.
We go to programs, we do this. The program could only give you tools to use. It's up to you to use them. And when you go to programs, you have to say the truth. Some of us Christians feel comfortable with the fact that we say the truth to God. We need to say the truth to your partner,
Amen.
to somebody else, and pass on what you know. And you see, as long as you don't say the truth to yourself and to God, you can't lie to God. He already knows.
He knows everything.
He knows everything before you even got involved
Amen.
with drugs.
Amen.
You know? So until you don't be truthful with yourself, I got bad news. I really believe we'll keep relapsing. Because like I said, drug is a symptom of a problem. Until you don't identify the problem that you have, you're gonna pick up. Now, and when I speak on me. Everybody's recovery is different. Everybody's rock bottom is different. You see, but the reality is, it's a problem. And we should take care of it.
Amen.
So I started using drugs at the age of 13. My problem was that I lived in a domestic violence house. My father used to hit my mother. And I used to see this every day. And since I was a little kid, I always said, when I get big, I want you to hit me the way you hit my mother.
Because I'll knock you out.
That was my problem. That really was my problem. And don't get it wrong, love my father. When I became a Christian, I love my father even more. Because we quick to criticize people for their sin. Why? Because their sin is different than ours?
No.
We all sinners,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I say that to say that was my father's downfall was drinking. Mother, dad, he was a great man, right? But guess what? My father never really spoke to me about it. So how could I judge him on anything, right?
Right.
Because the reality of it is, as much as I love my mother, I don't know if she was doing something wrong to him that he didn't speak about. And maybe that's why that was his problem, his inner problem. You see,
Still shouldn't hit her.
the thing is, I kept this in my mind. My mother died in my arms kissing me when I was 15 years old.
Oh,
Oh,
You know? I really believed in my heart that my mother knew I was a drug addict, but didn't want to hurt me. So never let me know that she knew. My mother went through changes with my father. Besides the hitting, a lady cut her, you know? My mother tried to commit suicide 3 times. I really believe that the reason my mother was trying to commit suicide because she didn't feel that she was doing for me what she should have done. She did what she could. Sometimes we criticize our parents because they didn't give me this, they didn't give me that. Look what the neighbor got. Your parents give you what they could.
yes,
Amen.
you can. Amen.
You know?
Amen. Yes.
And wow, it's a hurting feeling that I had to see this since I was young. You know? She died in 1970. Wow. In 1973, they killed my brother. And like I said, me and my brother, we was close. My only brother, you know? He got high too, you know? When my brother got killed, it really broke me. It broke me. Wow, like, I don't know. You know, my mother died and she died from cancer, and at that time they didn't have the technology they have today.
yeah.
Or she probably would have still be alive. I'm a cancer survivor.
Praise God.
Amen.
All right. All right. Woo.
I had throat cancer and they told me I might not be able to speak again.
Praise
And
God.
today, I'm an
Amen.
And that's what I like
Thank
to
you,
do.
Thank you, God.
You see, so when my brother got killed, it really broke me. You know? Like I said, what is this coming to? Well, the thing with that is that I got worse in the game. You see? I started selling drugs immediately, like right before he went, but then I was all out. Then I was like so like revengeful, hatred in my heart because my brother got killed, right? And I went to jail when I was younger. I mean, I could tell you stories about me. I got kidnapped when I was like 9 years old, but I'm here, you know? So many things happened to me that I gotta probably come here every day for God knows when to tell you everything that happens to me, you know? But I really got involved in selling drugs heavy. And then after my brother got killed, and I got arrested before that for minor stuff, taking money out of a telephone booth when they used to have a little black box under it. You used to open the black box and put the
Yeah.
wires together and the money came out. Yeah, I got caught for doing that. You know? And the reality of it is that
That's what I'm
in getting arrested, and then I got arrested, right before my mother died, I got arrested in 1970. You know? It was my first case to start a new life, to jail. When my brother died, like I said, then it was, I didn't care anymore if I go to jail. Because me being ignorant, and is the word, ignorance not to know, I made a promise to God, which we shouldn't make promises to God, because we can't keep them, right?
Right.
Amen.
I made a promise to God that I was gonna kill the guy that killed my brother. And I kept going to jail. At one point, I didn't even run from the cops. Let me get arrested. You know, it's a thing that kept going on and going on. At all this time, I kept trying to keep it away from my family. You know, I lived in 115th Street between 3rd and Lexington. They call me the weirdest drug dealer before anything else. School opened, I stopped selling drugs. There was a Pentecostal church in my block. They used to open up every day at 7 o'clock. They church. I closed. I stopped selling drugs because the church was open. I wouldn't sell to a pregnant woman.
Amen.
They said, how are you gonna make any money?
Good for you.
You know? How are you gonna make any money? This is when God works with you. You see? God, in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, for I know the plans I have for you. Plans prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and another future. He was working with me. God was working with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? But I didn't know that. You see, and just to say that sometimes you do things and you don't even realize who sees it. I never thought that the pastor knew I stopped selling drugs when he opened his church. And then I didn't even think he knew I sold church. I tried to close before he got there. But you know, I knew it when I got arrested. And when I got arrested, he went up to my father and says, Georgie, I want to know how much is your son's bail. I want to bail him out.
Mm.
And my father said, nah, thank you so much. I'll let him know. But somebody's on the way to bail him out now. I got bailed out. I came home, and my father told me, you better go knock on the pastor's door and tell him thank you. I said, for what? He didn't do nothing for me. He said, no, he came here and he told me he wanted to bail you out. I knocked on his door, and I was straight up. I was a cocky little young man, you know? And I told him, listen, thank you so much for wanting to bail me out. I believe in God, but I'm not ready. Those were my words, son. You know? Like I say, you never know, you know, who's watching, who sees who you really are, other than what you think you are. I kept going to jail. When I went to jail, I always felt like I was a leader. I was never a follower. I really thought I was the man. One guy shot at me with a shotgun. He was only like 4 feet away. He didn't touch me. I thought I was a man. No, he's the man.
Yes.
He's the one that protected
Amen.
me.
Amen.
But you see, when you don't know somebody, like me and my wife got an inside joke. You don't know me. You don't know my life. But that's a reality. I don't know your life. But every single one of us have a story.
Yep. Yep.
You know? And when you come and share that story, you never know who you're helping. That is relating to the same thing they're going through. Even though we got a different rock bottom, right? And a different recovery. Somebody could touch you because you're going and you could identify with them on what they have done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just kept going to jail, coming back and forth. I had my spoon and my fork and my toothbrush. It's like they knew he's coming back, just leave it there. You know, when you go to jail, whoever been in jail knows, when you leave, you take everything you got and you give it away to the people that are staying there. One day, I went back so fast that when I got there, I said, "Look, Victor, you came back for your stuff, they here." Listen, it's not a life. I went to school, I went as far as junior high school, didn't finish high school, but I got my GED in jail and I went to college in jail. I didn't finish college. I come to these places, am I a pastor? No. You know? Am I a counselor? No. I'm a suffering ex-addict, drug addict, like we all are. You know? And I say that when I came home, I became one of the biggest leaders in a gang in jail. I was a leader. I came home and I had like 25,000 men under me. Well, like I told you, I was born to be a leader. Or so I thought. Because today, I'm a follower
Of Jesus
Jesus.
Christ.
Yeah,
Amen.
Jesus.
Yes, yes.
That's
You
right.
see, I came home in 94, 95, 95. I see my wife. She was raised up. She was my mother's neighbor, my stepmother's neighbor. And I call her my mother because I never stepped on her and she never stepped on me. You know? Loved each other. And my mother literally gave me to her when she was dying. She said, take care of my son as if he was yours. She's only like 3 years older than me.
Wow.
And I'm still her baby. To this day. You know? So I was at the house, she walked in, and I told my son, I said, if I could ever get my life together and go the right way, she's gonna be my wife. I got arrested right after that. God said, I'm gonna fix you the way you want to, right? He fixed you the way he wants to. So I went to jail in 96.
You like
Every time I used to go to jail before, I did 3 state bids without counting all the city bids. I used to make promises to God. Lord, if you let me go on this parole board, I'll never come back. Always made the first board. I never lasted outside more than a year. From 87, I came home in 99. I used to come home, be out 6 months, a year, go right back in. 6 months, go right back in. Listen, that's really where I feel like I started feeling God. The Seminary prayer. I said it every day, twice a day. In the morning when I got up and before going to sleep. For 3 years that I was in my last bid. And I said it. You know, you never stop loving people even if they hurt you or embarrass you. God never did.
No.
Everybody embarrassed and it hurt him. Stop living. You know, and he still loved us.
Amen.
Yes, we did.
Oh, wow. My addiction always haunted me. It really did. You know, my father told me one time that I was going to die by the hands of some woman's husband. Because when I used to see a man hitting a woman, I had to jump in. You know, in doing all this time, now I was a little grown up, you know, was like 26 years old, whatever. And I came home and I knocked on my father's door. And I said, have you seen my wife? She wasn't my wife at the time. And he just lost his mind, cursing at me and telling me, mentioning bad things about my wife and saying she was just like your mother. I lost it. Because all I could see my mother in my arms, there trying to kiss me. And I punched him in the face. I broke his nose. When I did that, I cried. Because there was no doubt that I loved my father. I just didn't like what my father did. I told my daughter that. I told her one day when I was scolding her, I like you. I don't like you. And she said, but you told me you love me. I said, yeah, I love you. But I don't like you. You know? And she said, how could you love me and not like me? Don't you supposed to like somebody first and then love them? I said, I love you, but I don't like the way you're acting right now. So no, I don't like you. You see? So I didn't like what my father was doing. But there was no doubt that I loved him. I loved him dearly. So I hit him. I broke his nose. I was enraged. And I told him, please hit me the way you hit my mother. He was going to come down to fight me. He cleaned himself, and his friend said, don't go downstairs. Victor got so much rage he could kill you with his bare hands. This guy went to stop me. I said, don't stop me. You didn't stop him when he hit my mother. Why are you stopping me? You see, I lived with this, you know. And you know, that was my problem. Of everything that I was going through with my family. You see, so I say that to say, that was my problem. I identify with it. I stopped using drugs for a while. But like always, being an addict, you could be an addict to a lot of things. You could have an addiction of eating, you know, whatever. It don't just have to be drugs. There's different types of addiction, you know. Then I got addicted to fast money. I said, wow, I don't get high no more. You know how much money I spend getting high? The people that get high, if they sit down and write how much money they spent every day, we could all be millionaires. It's a reality, you know? So I said, I could just sell drugs and I could be rich. Easy come, easy go. I was making money. And then I got another addiction. I started gambling. So now I'm selling drugs to go to gamble. Never had nothing. Everybody loved me because I was always a giver. And that's probably what God wanted me to be. Just preparing me for it, right? Let me tell you. So when I went back to jail in '96, after I made the comment about marrying her, you know, best decision in my life. I started, like I said, I started believing in God, you know? And I said, I cannot make God no more promises. I gotta make commitments.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I gotta make.
Amen.
Promises are broken. Commitments don't.
That's right.
You know, I started going to jail, like I said before, and I started saying centenary prayer every day. She wasn't writing to me. We was not no way of contact. I was like 2 years into the bid, and she went to my mother's house and seen a letter of mine there and said, could I write the Victor? And my mother said, I bet you love it. You could do it. Tell my mother everything, you know. So she knew how I felt. And she started writing to me and taking care of me. That was a new thing for me, because every bid that I did by myself. You see? The reality of it is, sometimes we don't see the people that love us, you know, that care for us or nothing. In 1 Peter 1:8-9, it says, you never saw him, yet you love him. You still don't see him, yet you trust him. With laughter and singing, because you kept believing, you'll get what you're looking forward to, total salvation. So when I started going to church, and I was 2 months I went to see the board in New York City. You see the board, and if you make the board, you go home 2 months after. I went to church. I spoke to the pastor, and the pastor was happy for me to be there, and I was blunt with him. I said, I'm coming here to pray and ask God to let me go. And if I make the board, I'll come back to say thank you to Jesus, but I'm not coming to church every week. Because what I had in my mind was that I kept breaking promises every time I went to church, just so he could let me go.
Yep.
So I said, I need to go home and go to church out in the street. You see, church is only a building. We the church.
Amen.
Yeah.
We the ones that church.
Yes,
Amen.
yes.
Yes, we are. Amen.
Right?
Yes, we are.
And the thing with that is, I came home. I started, as soon as I came home in '99, me and her from the first day started seeing each other, going shopping together, Christmas, Thanksgiving, her birthday. We went to a church. I went to a church. I didn't like it or whatever. Then we went back to her grandmother's church. She died at 103, still going to
Oh,
church.
praise God.
All right.
You know?
103.
And
Praise God.
we went there,
See that?
and they accepted me with open hands. The thing about it, when I walked in there, there was a lot of seniors in there. And they knew me. They turned around like, look what they brought in here.
Look what came
But
in.
you know what? They accepted me.
Amen.
They accepted
counts.
me
That's all that
regardless of who I was. See, I'm not where I should be, but I'm not who I used to be.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Woo.
You know?
Amen. Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's good.
And we started going to church. We got married immediately. I came home at the end of '99, and we got married 2000 in June. 22nd. I remember. See, I seen the side of her eyes say the day. Is with that, we got married immediately, and we kept churching, and we still churching.
Praise God.
Of all the things I did, and I said I'll never be a follower, everything I did was lies, right? I'm not gonna do this. Every promise I made, I never kept none of it. And like I told you before, I am a follower today of Jesus. But even though that I'm a follower of Jesus, because that's what Jesus does, he uses us,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Amen.
And there wasn't no perfect man but him. His disciples all did their things, right?
Yeah.
He used me. Today, I'm the director of the prison ministry in my church.
Praise God.
All right. Woo. Yeah.
I go to Northampton Correctional Facility every month to talk to the inmates. That was another lie. When I left, I said I'll never go back to jail.
Doing it a different way, though. You're doing it a different way.
You always could change a negative into a positive.
Always.
You know, that's the way to look at life today. You know, the thing with me is that in all this, I enjoy coming to this type of atmosphere, to speaking to people. Somebody asked me, so what is you seeking for in your life? And I told them, I want to be a bridge. Really? A bridge? Yes, I want to stand out like this and lead the people from that negative side into the side of God.
Amen. Amen. All right.
That's what I want to do.
Man of God.
Woo.
You know, I've been through so much. Like I said, cancer survivor, I shouldn't be speaking, right?
Right. Right.
I had hepatitis C.
Whoa.
Notice I say had.
Amen.
It was a disease that wasn't curable,
God is good. God is good.
right?
God is good.
I was an HIV I came out of jail and I became an HIV pre and post counselor. I became an advocate for people to be able to get their benefits, right? I worked out in the street. I used to go to the worst places you could think of, you know, and I did all this. So me seeing the people that had HIV take the medicine for hepatitis C, it was destroying their immune system. I said, I don't want to take it. You know, I kept quiet about it. I don't want to use that. When I caught the cancer, my chemo doctor told me, Victor, I want you to take medicine for hepatitis C. I told him, Dr. Hysinski, I don't think so. I seen what it did. He said, Victor, that was a lot of years ago.
Amen.
We have a new drug. It's not shots, it's nothing, it's pills. You know, he said, I want you to think about it. I got a good doctor for you and everything. But then he told me the price of the pills. You gotta use 3 bottles. Each bottle got 30 pills. And each bottle costs $37,448.
Wow.
Now, I usually wear jewelry. And I told them, don't let the jewelry fool you. These were gifts. Where am I gonna get this money from? I talked to my wife, really, each pill, right? I mean, each bottle. He had me though, he said he had me. Listen to me. He said, Victor, I need you to go see this doctor. I went to see the doctor. When I went to see the doctor, they got together. I had when I had the lump in my inside because of the cancer, I went there and I talked to this lady and I told this lady, they told me to call there every day because they told me a month and a half, and I'm sorry, I'm backtracking, They said, you get an appointment. My doctor got me an appointment there because she found it in a checkup. She told me, do you want your flu shot? And I came out and I said, no, because I think I got a cold. She said, why you didn't tell me that before? She checked me out and I had cancer. She didn't say I had cancer. She said it looks angry. So she sent me, doctors owe each other favors, sent me to go to this doctor. And they gave me an appointment for a month and a half. I called her back and I said, look, doctor, they told me a month and a half. She said, absolutely not. Call them every day. I said, I don't want to call them every day. I'm going to get them mad at me and they got to check me. She said, everybody does that. Somebody could cancel an appointment.
Yep.
All right. So I started calling and they found an appointment for me. Somebody canceled it. And I went and I spoke. The lady called me. I said, thank you so much. God bless you. And when they called me, they took care of me, and they were gonna send me to another doctor. And when they sent me to the other doctor, she said, I'm gonna get you somebody, but could you let me talk because it was all got to do with insurance and all that, Could I talk my way?
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I said, okay, do what you gotta do. After she finished the conversation with the lady, she told her, thank you so much, God bless you. And I looked at, he said, God bless you. I looked at her like, she said, that's something you won't want to say because that's what you told me. So you see, when you speak, you'll be surprised who's hearing.
Yes.
So they took care of it immediately. Then the doctor told me about the hepatitis C. The bottom line is, I got treated for it. I don't have hepatitis C no more.
Amen.
All right.
And I only pay
Praise God.
$15.
Praise God.
Oh my God. There's so many things that I would like to just tell you, in such little time. But
Go for it.
he said go for it. The reality of it is, that going through everything I went with my brother, my father, me and my wife watched this show. And I seen the show, This Is Us. And I started crying. I started crying because this girl told her brother, you are so my father.
Wow.
That broke me. Because I am so my father. The only thing I never did was hit a woman because my mother raised me. When you have a wife, she taught me how to do everything. When you have a wife, you're with your wife because you love her, not because you need her. You see? And my mother said, the day you have a wife, would you want your kids to hate you because you hit their mother? How would you think your kids are gonna feel if you hit their mother? How did you feel?
My husband didn't make it.
I never did that. My mother raised me up never to do that. But out of every bad thing, good things happen, right? My father and me became the best of friends.
Right.
Right after I hit him. It went by, we stopped talking. I felt ashamed of myself. I should have never let it get that far. to hit him, and then I got in a fight, and somebody was gonna hit me behind, and my father showed up from nowhere to protect me. Like a father does protect his kids, even though that I embarrassed him by what I did, the way we embarrass God. every time we do
Amen.
things wrong.
Yes, yes.
And he still loves us. You see, me and my father became real tight. And my father changed so much the way I have that we was watching TV and this guy hit his wife and he got mad at the TV. I said, it's only a show, right? But it must have given him a check, reality check.
Yep, yep.
You know, we all need someone. But before you need somebody, I ask you one thing. Go to God first.
Mm-hmm.
Go to God first. Ask God what you need. He'll lead you,
Amen.
you know.
He will. Yes,
He'll
he will.
lead you. Believe me. If people say, oh, you heard voices, you crazy. I guess I'm crazy. But I hear a lot of voices because God sends you messages in different ways.
Yes, he does. He
Right.
does.
I heard a message while I was pumping gas. Told me to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Look where I'm at today because of that. Right? That's the way it is. You know, and I tell you, with all respect, you know, I think your step says that, right? Take inventory of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Say something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what y'all do. Take inventory of yourself and look for your inner problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have one. Sometimes we just don't like to talk about it. You know? You don't believe that you are who you say you are. Or what that thing is telling you. You know? Wow. My last bid was, it broke me. You know why it broke me? And why I said I'm my father's child? My last bid that I did broke me, was my rock bottom for real. I got arrested with my son. To see my son in the same cell as me, in the bullpen rather, it broke me. It broke me to reality. I felt so responsible that he was there because of me, what I taught him. Again, didn't literally taught him, but they see things that you don't think they see,
Amen.
Yeah, yeah.
right? And sometimes doing the right thing, you're doing the wrong thing. I'm making money, so I'm buying him whatever he asks me for. I'm not teaching him no responsibility. I'm buying him stuff that his mother couldn't buy for him because she was on welfare. You know? So me missing the house, what you think he's gonna do? He's gonna want the same things I gave him.
Yeah.
And he knew how I used to get it. So when we was arrested together, I felt so guilty. And she was a minor, I was adult, so we wasn't together in the same cell. So same bullpens, right? And like I said, I went there so many times that the COs knew me. I said, Victor, that's your son? I said, yeah. All right. And he took people that was in the bullpen and put me in a bullpen by myself and went and got my son and put him together with me. And I told my son, I said, Victor, I'm sorry. I'm responsible for this. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take all the weight. And I'm gonna let you go.
Amen.
I'm gonna say, it's my case.
Yeah.
But I'm doing that because I want to set you free.
Amen.
If it's the last thing I could do for you, is set you free. And all I want you to do is go home and do the right thing. This is not a life. They offered me life because it was election time in '96, and I had like 3-4 felonies already. So you were a 3-time loser. They offered me life. I told the lawyer, you crazy? For a couple of bags, you're gonna give me life? I said, I'll fight it. If you're gonna give me life, I'll fight it. I said, just tell him right now I'll take 3 to 6. He said, no, that. I said, look, you're my lawyer. Just tell him I'll take 3 to 6 right now. And they gave me 3 to 6. Plus I owed it 5, so it was like, 3 to 11. But God kept blessing me. God kept blessing me. I did the 3 years, came home, got married to my beautiful wife. I was on parole. And guess what? I used to go there so angry every day that the parole officer used to tell me, don't you smile? Don't you, you always come in here so serious. I said, there's nothing to be happy about at all. I don't like where I'm at. People asking me, is my urine clean? Could I give them some urine? I said, I'm not comfortable here. I said, I'm bringing you my pay stubs, I'm working. My PO loved me. I think he gave me the best lesson ever. I asked him permission to come to Pennsylvania and look for a house and everything. And I asked him for a pass, and he told me he wasn't gonna give me a pass, but gave me permission to go. And told me, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Doing the right thing, you could get in trouble. How could that be? Really? I said, Victor, I know that you go to church. I know you go to church, and the reality of it is, you could go to church. You got a curfew, Victor, 9 o'clock. You could go to church. Your pastor is feeling the spirit. He's talking. It passes 9 o'clock, and you on your way home, and the police stop you. You violated parole. He said, but the truth will set you free. If you get arrested for that, call me and let me know what happened. Don't let me look it up in the logs that you got arrested. So I was, good with that. That was like one of the biggest lessons that I think I learned from him. And I always thought about it. So I came home, and I was on parole for like 2.5 years. And one day I went in the parole office, and the parole officer told me, so you really never gonna laugh or smile with me? And I said, ma'am, please, just do your job. And she said, now mind you, this is 2003, and I was supposed to be on parole till 2011. And she said, and if I tell you to go home and never come back here again, automatically my face changed. Show teeth and all. And she looked at me and she said, good luck, goodbye, you'll get a letter. So they gave me back 8 years.
Amen. All right, all right.
Praise
You know-
God. Praise God.
And coming to my son, the thing about him is, while I got arrested, then he got arrested up here. But that's okay, because everybody's rock bottom is different. Today, he's been married like 14 years. Him and his wife, a beautiful woman. This is what everything my wife does for me, she does for him. He's living a great life. He lives out in Florida. And I gotta thank God for everything.
Praise God.
And I'm glad to be here. Thank you all for listening to my story.
That's great.
And I hope if it did anything for somebody to realize that God still makes miracles.
Yes, he does.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you guys.
That's right.